that is strange or suspicious, don't hesitate to call the police. At the same time, folks, be careful. Don't call the police on your neighbor because they're watering their lawn at a different time than they normally do, and all of a sudden they change things up and it's suspicious. No, that's called you being paranoid. Or just because somebody has a lighter brown skin and may or may not come from an Arabic style country, or they might come from an Eastern European country and may wear what they call babushkas there, which is your headscarves. That doesn't mean they're wearing hijab, although they are very similar. Just because somebody dresses a little bit different or whatever, that's not a reason to call suspicion. Well, let me tell you a little something about terrorists. They're going to blend in as well as they can. They're not going to be wearing the hijab. They're going to be clean shaven. They're going to do their best to not seem to be what they are. So, got to keep your eyes out for the little indicators, the little suspicions. But don't be paranoid, folks. If you go out and be paranoid, you're going to start crying wolf. And then nobody's going to believe you if you actually do see something. Or by the time somebody does believe you, if you actually see something verifiable, it'll get verified too late. So only report those things that you absolutely think are necessary. But if you see something, do report it. Be vigilant. And remember, your right, authority, and responsibility to defend yourself is inherent in your citizenship and your rights as an American citizen, and your individual rights as a human being. So remember that, and be prepared to defend yourself and your family if necessary. That means defend. That doesn't mean go out and start attacking people, guys. That means defend. But be prepared to defend. Be prepared to defend yourself and your family using whatever means might be necessary for that defense. Now, if that's a phone call to 911 and that's all it takes, or yelling, waving your arm, whatever, then that's all it takes. If it takes a handshake and a kind word, then that's what it takes. If it takes some form of force, whatever form of force, least amount necessary to reduce the threat, that's what it takes, folks. So if it does mean opening fire with a firearm, of course, and that is your only option, the only viable option available, then that's what's available. And it's your God's given right to use it. So since tomorrow is the 13th anniversary of the where's the 14th? Let me see. 14 minus 1 is 13. So tomorrow is the 13th anniversary of the 2001 attacks that Al-Qaeda did against the World Trade Center and the Pentagon and whatever the other target may have been. That was it Flight 93 that went down in the Pennsylvania field. Whatever their intended target was, they didn't get there. So could have been a lot worse than it was, folks. It was pretty dang bad, wasn't it? So as that anniversary approaches, keep your eyes open. But you should keep your eyes open every day, not just that day. So we have another big date coming up just 2 days afterwards. On September 13th, it will be the 200th anniversary of the writing of the Star-Spangled Banner. That'll be on Friday, folks. Or not Friday, Saturday. So we have that to look forward to. So terrorists love big events. So considering the 13th is a big event in our history, they could use that and try to pervert that and use that for symbolic means or reason to attack. Choose that day. So consider that. They attack on dates that are important and significant to them, but they also like to attack on dates that they think are significant to us. September 11th, 2001 was a significant date for us, folks. But out of our history. It's not because it happened to be September 11th, 9/1. You know, we're the only country in the world that does month, day, year. All the other ones do day, month, year. So for them, it was actually 119, not 911. So it doesn't have that symbolism that we think it does because of September 11th, the 9/11. Didn't have that symbolism. Also, they happen to use a completely different calendar than we do. But, so it wasn't from the same symbolism. However, they did look at the symbolism of that particular day on the calendar, the 11th day of the 9th month of the year in our calendar, in the Julian calendar. And there's something that happened in our own history. A religious-based massacre took place where a bunch of members of the LDS church went all extremist and murdered a bunch of pioneers who happened to be settling in that, well, not settling, but stopped in that part of Utah. And first they opened their arms to them, and then they dressed up like Native Americans and went and attacked them because he found out that some of them came from Missouri or Kansas City or St. Louis. I forget exactly where, but they in their brains attributed it to the same area where where the founder of LDS had been murdered or assassinated, as it would be. So they took it out on these people because they happened to be from or have gone through the same city, even though they had nothing to do with it. They took it out on them. I think they called it, it was kind of like blood atonement. That's what they called it, forced atonement, by doing the brutality against them and murdering them that somehow alleviated them of their sins. So that's what their excuse was. So that was a historical event that Al-Qaeda latched onto for the attacks in 2001. They did it as a form of blood atonement against U.S. citizens for whatever crimes they perceive we've done against their extremist, genocidal faction of heresy and blasphemy against their own faith. So, there's my 2 cents on that. But, like I kind of hinted at there, good old Sheriff Gary Painter, he talked about what his sheriffs are planning to do. And I mentioned you need to be ready and prepared to defend yourself and your family in the necessity that you have to defend yourself and your family. Well, a couple of days ago, and I think this happened on like September 4th or 5th is when this actual event took place. But we've acquired the audio. There was a widow near Phoenix, Arizona, had some home invader come into her house intending to harm her. And while she was on the phone to 911, she was forced to defend herself. And we have the audio from that 911 call for y'all to listen to. So I'm just going to warn you folks ahead of time. This is a little bit graphic. But another thing to keep in mind is this is almost 7 minutes long. This isn't even the entire call. This is just a portion of it, but it was about 7 minutes long, which means it took police at least 7 minutes to get there. Folks, even though the actual, when you listen to it, the actual invasion, when the person actually comes through the door and starts to attack the woman, it takes like a minute or two. Folks, when seconds count, police are minutes away. So keep in mind. And this was Arizona, which has some pretty constitution-loving laws when it comes to to firearms. They have concealed carry in the state of Arizona, something that we down here in Texas wish they would look at doing here, and I'm sure there's several other states they're looking at that. So, including constitutional open carry at least. But yeah, thankfully this woman was not timid about owning a firearm, nor timid about using it when she absolutely had to. And she did the 100% right thing. She called the cops first. She didn't call the cops after shooting. And the cops were there, and they heard exactly what went on. It was a very clear-cut case of self-defense here, at least from the audio. So let's listen in. It's about 7 minutes long, folks.
Phoenix 911, where is the emergency? Hello, 911?
Hey, please help me. Somebody's trying to get my house.
What are they doing?
They've tried my front door, my side door, and now they're trying to break in my back gate.
Okay, stay on the line with me. I've already got off the started. Do not hang up, okay?
All right, I have a gun in my hand. I'm terrified.
Okay. I've got officers already on the way. I'm going to keep you on the phone until the officers get there, okay? You said that they're trying the back gate now?
I think they're in the back now.
Okay, so first the front
Somebody's
door.
in the back and on my porch.
Someone's on your porch?
Please hurry, please.
Ma'am, they're coming out there as fast as they can. Can you see anybody? I'm not asking you to look, but did you see anyone? Like, are there any open windows?
Somebody's banging on my Arcadia door.
Okay, are you expecting anybody?
No.
Okay.
There's no vehicles out front of my driveway. No, somebody's walking out of my back porch.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to keep you on the phone until the officers get there, okay? Do not hang up. Yeah, I've got a lot of officers coming out there.
It just broke in.
It just broke?
Yeah, they broke my Arcadia door.
Okay, yeah, I've got them coming out there. They're coming out as fast as they can. Have you heard any voices?
No, they're coming in right now, though.
Okay, tell me if you see them. Tell me what they look like, how many of them are, whether they're men, women.
I just saw one.
Just saw one? Okay, did you see a person, or did you see, like, the shadow of a person?
Person, green hoodie. They're coming in right now, please, please, please.
Yeah, they're coming out as fast as they can. I promise you, they're coming out there as fast as they can. I've got a lot of officers responding. And as everything you're telling me, I'm typing, and the dispatcher's giving it to them immediately. They're getting all this information.
They're breaking out my window.
Are you in your bedroom, or?
I'm in my bathroom.
Okay, yeah, they're coming out as fast as they can. I've got a lot of officers responding. Is there an alley behind your house?
Yes.
You back up to the canal, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you don't need to answer anything. I'm going to stay on the line with you, okay? What happened?
What did you do? Did you have to shit that guy? What did you tell me my house for? Oh, no. I shot him.
You shot him?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, I've got everybody coming out for help, okay?
Please hurry. Don't get up, I'll shoot again.
Okay, where did you shoot him? Ma'am, where did you shoot him at?
In my house, he's in my bathroom.
No, where in his body? Where in his body did you shoot him?
What?
Where in his body?
He's laying half in my bathroom and half in the hallway. Where in the body?
No, yeah, like, did you hit him?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, do you recognize him? Is he somebody?
No, I don't recognize him.
Okay, so he came into the bathroom where you were?
I'm in the front bathroom.
Okay.
I said don't move.
What is he saying?
He said he thought the house was abandoned. Abandoned house with a car and locked gates and, yeah. You should be sorry. You knocked, you banged, you tried to get indoors. I heard you out there. Because why should I unlock the door? When you're rattling and beating on everything and trying to climb my fence. I'm not even going to talk to you.
Yeah, there's no need to. The officers give me their few. I've got just about every officer on that part of town is responding out there, okay?
Please get somebody here.
Yeah, they're coming out as fast as they can. Are you hurt at all?
I don't know. My face is bleeding. I'm bleeding from some places. I don't know where else. I don't know. He was beating on me.
He was hitting you?
He was beating on me when he found out I was in there. That's why I dropped the phone and I almost dropped the gun. I ended up shooting.
Okay. Okay, I've got them all coming out as fast as they can. They're arriving in the area now. Okay.
Yeah.
When you hear them at the door, you're gonna have to.
I'm not gonna walk off the top of the sky.
No. I'm not gonna want you to leave the bathroom. Yeah, I'm gonna have them come to you, but you're gonna need to put the gun down, not near you.
I will.
Okay.
I'm here.
I'm gonna wait till you see the officers before I disconnect. Okay? I'm showing they are there. They should be coming inside.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Come on back. I put the gun down.
Harrowing experience, folks. And all we can think here is thank God she had a firearm, knew how to use it, and was not afraid to when she had to. You heard there, when he asked if she was hurt, she said, I don't know, I think I'm bleeding, because the guy, not only did he break in, but when he found out she was there, he went after her and started beating on her and knocked the phone out of her hand, the one that she was on the phone with the 911 operator, and tried to knock the gun away from her, but she was able to squeeze off a round and shoot him. So there you have it, folks. The firearm saved her life. Because how many people out there honestly think this guy would have seen her and said, oh, I thought the house was abandoned and left? No, he started immediately hitting on her. He probably, had she not had the gun, probably would have raped and or killed her. So, thankfully for her, she had a firearm, wasn't afraid to use it. So, women's self-defense tip, take some martial arts or something, ladies, but go learn how to use a firearm and go buy yourself at least a pistol, if not something better, to defend your home and defend your children, defend yourself with. In these days, in these times, folks, it's an unfortunate necessity. Because you notice there, by the time the cops would have gotten there, she could have been dead had she not been there to squeeze the trigger. Because he was in and on top of her at about 2 minutes of that 7-minute long phone call. Well, that's our moral of the story for today. Of course, you can go over to BuzzFo and read the actual article that contains that video and that transcript, folks, as well as the other stuff there. Real quick, Panera Bread, the polls are out, and a lot of people that used to eat there won't now because they've asked people who lawfully and legally carry firearms to stay out. They're losing business. On the flip side, 84% of those people polled support Kroger and their decision to allow people who lawfully and legally carry their firearms to come into their establishment.